And so I do a lot of work. And
I know you do a lot of work, and I know, like, I just saw this article come up on Twitter today, and it was, I guess, but it was that whole Gilmore Girls thing where you're out with your buddies one night and you were partying, and for some reason, Lauren from Gilmore Graham got sick. They had to switch scenes around, and so paint that picture exactly what happened, because this kind of got your work ethic to where it is now, in a way, right?
Yeah. Literally, it was sort of like one of these situations where on Gilmore Girls, I think I was number 12 or 15 or something on the call sheet, depending on whether it was season 1 or 5 or anything in between. And I think I was filming, like, just as an example, and I don't remember the exact details, but I wasn't filming for several more days. And then we all stayed up, and it was pretty, I was going to say, like, we were, having a crazy time. It was like me and my buddies, like, playing Grand Theft Auto that had just come out. And I had one of those big old, I think, like, one of the first things I bought on Gilmore Girls was one of those giant TVs that weighs as much as a car and takes up a giant amount of space. Right. For those people who were born before 2000. They used to be giant, and it was like plasma. And I had PS3 or PS2 or PS1, whatever it was. And we had Grand Theft Auto. And so we'd sit there and play. I had, like, my puppy and this and that. And so we had stayed up, like, playing games, ordering Papa John's, and probably, like, drinking Coors Light or some redneck stuff. It was like a lot of Texans also. And so then we went to bed around whatever time. Didn't go nuts. We weren't, like, drinking booze, like taking whiskey shots or anything. Right. But we're just, like, drinking beer and staying up late. And then I had a puppy at the time, Sadie girl, who passed away. And Coda, who you met last time, he had surgery, so he's not here right now. Otherwise, I'd bring him in for a cameo. Anyways, nice. I'll get back around.
No, I like it.
So like, went to bed, and I had gone to Home Depot and bought, like, plywood and sod and turf, and I had made this, like, 4x2. My daddy and I had made this 4x2, like, little pee place for Sadie to go to the bathroom on my balcony, because I lived on the 3rd floor of 4301 Fulton. I don't live there anymore, but 4301 Fulton. So it was, like, 2 blocks up from Casa Vega, right past Heart, right on the little.
Know exactly corridor where that is. Yep. Yeah,
and my neighbor. Anyways,
and you're close to work, by the way. That's relatively 10 minutes away from work.
Dude, I was down Riverside or Moore Park. Yeah, I was right there. It was 15 minutes in LA. And so I had left the screen door open to the balcony, going, like, okay, she kind of knew. And there's, like, some spray that smells like urine, I guess. But you spray it where you want your dog to pee. So, like, if you live in an apartment in New York or LA or San Francisco, then they're like, well, this is, like, the thing that you can do to make your dog pee here, because they smell urine, they want to pee, I guess. Right. This is kind of disgusting.
No,
I'm sorry.
It's educational.
So I had that stuff, and I, like, sprayed it, and I was like, okay, I'll leave this door open. And then all of a sudden I'm woken up at, like, 8 a.m. My buddy Jordan, what's up, Jordan? Who's one of my dear friends, stood in my wedding, and he's like, hey man, they need you on set. And I was like, this isn't a funny joke. Like, well, leave me alone. And, like, turning over the pillow. And he's like, no, they, like, Spilo called me, who's my manager, producer partner. Dan Spilo. And he's like, no, they've been calling. And I was like, what are you talking about? I got my phone, which is probably like not even a Motorola Razor. It would have been whatever the little small phones were.
Right. Nokia,
probably.
Nokia, he says.
And I had a bunch of missed calls and voicemails and texts.
Right.
And I was like, oh, Jesus. And so I get up, and then I find out the story. But, at the time you're 20, and so a cold shower and a cup of coffee, you're like, all right, we running a marathon or what? But it was the worst feeling. It was like the classic, like, naked at school trope or whatever.
Right.
Where it's just and I was like, I never want to be there again. And
you just felt like you're not prepared. You kind of lost. You're getting on set. You're kind of like it just was really uncomfortable for you.
It was more than uncomfortable, man. Like it was scarring, right? Like PTSD, not like legit PTSD, but it was like, it stays with me to this day. Like,
what was it? Was it embarrassing because you didn't know your lines, or?
No, man. Like everybody on set was kind and gracious, and they knew me, and I knew I could do a good enough job, I suppose. Not really being prepared, but I just felt like I was being an asshole. Like I felt like I was, as nice as everybody was being, I felt like they must hate my guts. Like here I am, some 19-year-old kid showing up, probably smell like Coors Light, and they have family. I didn't have family, you know. I'm like, well, I had family, but I didn't have kids or a spouse or anything.
Right.
But I just felt like, man, these people's time is valuable.